Hello, Bo.
Hello, Ethan.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm recovered now.
Yeah, you had
Got
a concert and then some severe weather.
yeah, it's been a little active last 48 hours, sir. Had my neck was hella sore and then had to be prepared for severe weather last night, but the odds weren't in our favor and we did not have hardly anything. So,
Who'd you go see in concert?
shine down. Shine
Okay.
down in Beartooth. I don't know if people know Beartooth as well. But it's pretty universal. I think most people know who they are.
Okay.
Put
I know
on one
Shinedown.
hell of a show, dude. One hell of a show. You got it.
Fantastic.
If you ever have a chance, go see them. Go
You've
see
seen them
them.
before, though, right? This isn't the first one, right? You
No,
saw them
no,
in Green
this
Bay?
yes. This is the second time I saw Shinedown, but I mean, each show, both of them were not the same. Like they are one of those performers that every show is different, which is great. That's what you want from a performer. So, which is great. But I will say this, the first concert I went to, I got to like pat the lead singer on the back, be like, "You're doing a good job." Yeah, I know. He came into the crowd and I happened to be like right next to him and I'm just like, "You're doing a good job, buddy." Pat
So
on the
what you
back.
could say is that each show's pretty much has some random Schmidt.
Ah, shit. Yes, it has some sort of random Schmed. All right, I see what the transition you were trying to go with. I was like, where's he going with this?
Welcome to the
Yes.
show. Hello,
Welcome to the
everyone.
show.
Welcome to Random Schmidt. I am Ethan Schmidt. He is Bo Fogel. And we are continuing our watch through The Last of Us Season 2. We've got to episode 3 called The Path.
Yep.
Um, I in the game I got to that point. It did not take me long. I think I just had to play like
Yeah.
one simple thing because I had paused kind of right after Joel's death, and in the game, it's pretty much you just go from there to Seattle.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, you just walk into the house, you go look at Joel's watch, blah blah, all that good stuff. And
Yeah.
it's not as as I guess in depth as the show would be. And
Hmm.
again, part of that was, and again, as you know, I listened to the actual show podcast, and a big part of it was in the game, you can't have time to grieve.
Yes.
In the show, they could build in the funeral process of Joel, which was really, I think it was really unique. I think it was really cool to see that. I think for everybody who, because I think there was a lot of people who stopped watching after last episode overall because they just didn't want to see Pedro die,
I
um,
know.
which
And
sucks because you're missing out on a beautifully told story.
you are. I mean, I get it. I get it because I'm in the same field with, as you know, Ethan, I'm in the same field as Glenn in The Walking Dead, where, I took that death pretty hard because Glenn probably was tied to first as my favorite character, along with Michonne. Michonne's a badass, love her. But I took his death pretty hard. And so I'm like, I'm pissed off. I don't want to watch the show anymore. My favorite character is dead, or one of them, and I don't want to watch it. So I get it, folks. But this is an exception where yes, Joel does die, but it actually the story's not over. Believe me, not even close. It's over. It
Mhm.
actually, yes, it sucks he died, but in a way, it makes the story like better in a way. Like it it lays out the rest of the story of what's going to happen. Because I mean, where could have they gone with the story if Joel was still alive? I mean, they made it to Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean, they found out that, Ellie could have been the last hope of humanity, but they weren't sure. Where could they have gone with the story if Joel was still alive? That's my thinking.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, I get it that he's dead and it's sad, but believe me, you need to keep watching because it. Mm.
Yeah, and I felt this episode was a really good calming episode from everything that happened. It was definitely more
Slow
I
paced.
think yeah, I think last episode was such a just a
Hellfire.
shotgun. I mean, just a shotgun goes off and you're like, "Holy cow." I mean,
Literally.
metaphorically, yeah, literally
Yeah,
and metaphorically. I
yeah,
mean,
literally metaphorically. I mean, we're not
one took Joel's knee, the other one
neat.
just the explosion of emotion that happens, and you don't really process it that well because it happens, and then it's it's over with. I mean, you see that, he gets beaten. You see the scene with Ellie. So I'm
Uh-huh.
sure emotionally a lot of people were like, "Holy cow!" But this
Yes.
episode is definitely slower, and it is on the emotional side because you start off with a beautiful scene of Tommy in there with Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know there's been a lot of people, fan theories wise, who are just like, Joel's not dead.
Joel's dead, people. You and Ethan and I can put those theories to rest. Joel is dead. He is not coming back. He is dead. Now, when they say that Pedro isn't done, you'll see Pedro again. It's gonna be flashbacks
Yeah,
of
the museum
is
trip.
the museum trip. Was that while they were going to Jackson, or was that after they made it to Jackson? I
I believe it
forget.
was after.
Was it after they
Yeah,
made it to Jackson? They're just doing like their
yeah, because I think Ellie can
routes.
swim by then, which she couldn't swim in the first game, and then Ellie can
That's
swim in the
right.
second game. So
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm starting it's starting to come back. But yes, that's what they mean by Pedro is not done and will be making appearances again. They are
yeah,
just flashbacks. But from here on out, in the future of the story, Joel is dead. He's not
yeah.
coming back.
People were trying to say something with like cordyceps and all this other stuff, and it's
No,
like they wouldn't do that to that
they wouldn't
character. It
do
just wouldn't
that.
happen.
And I mean, he wasn't infected, so how would he come back? He wasn't infected. It's not like The
Yeah,
Walking Dead where they're all infected. No,
correct.
he's not infected. He won't come back. He's gone.
By the way, I started watching Fear of the Walking Dead. I'm only two
And
episodes in. It's all right.
it's all right. I
It's all
heard it
right.
was pretty good. It was pretty good. I
It's all
oh
right.
my gosh, this dude is well, Ethan is so far ahead with Walking Dead. That's like
I've
it's
watched all the
hard for me.
spin-offs, everything. Yeah.
He's watching everything, which I want to do as well, but oh, it is just hard to watch. I don't know. Maybe I'll just skip that moment when
We'll
Glenn
talk we'll
dies.
talk a little Walking Dead at the end of this one. Let's
Okay.
continue on with The Last of Us. I know
Okay.
everybody's tuning in. They're like, you said The Last of Us. Now you're talking Walking Dead
Walking
again.
Dead, I
So,
know. Whoops.
because I'll tell you something about The Walking Dead here a little bit later on. That like you were talking about your favorite character. I don't know who my favorite character is, so I'm going to have to think about it as I'm talking to you. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
how
how this is
dare
going to
you?
work. Because I have to really think about it. So, um,
Hmm.
some really great scenes of that. They jump 3 months later because they can do that in the television series. They don't. I mean,
Yes.
technically you could do it in the game as well, but because of the way that the gameplay is,
Hmm.
you want a pissed off Ellie
Hmm.
going to Seattle, but they do the 3 months later. And you see the town trying to repair itself. It's very ominous in there. They're trying to fix the wall. They're trying to fix where the outbreak or the I guess the stampede of zombies had come
Zombies.
in. I'm trying to fix that situation up. So you're seeing that, and then we get we get a really really touching
Traumatized.
moment.
Traumatized moment of Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie wakes up in the hospital. And she's kind of still stuck in that mindset that the only thing she can see is Joel's Joel dying, which again I forgot about this because as I'm replaying the game
Uh-huh.
in the in the game as you interact with things, Ellie writes in her journal and draws pictures, and there's a moment later on where she's drawing a picture and she's forgotten what every time she tries to draw Joel she like crosses out his like scribbles out part of his face because her last memories of Joel will always be his head being caved in or
Crushed.
bloodied
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly. So in the game, that was a really good touch. I saw that on social media somewhere where they like took a freeze frame of that and they were like, every time that she thinks about drawing Joel, she can't because of
Huh.
the last memory. So she wakes up with that memory, and the last thing she remembers is obviously that. But she's in that hospital with a bunch of um, different injured people. And then, of course, that's when we jump to 3 months later and they're rebuilding the town. She has an
Yes.
interaction, of course, with the new psychotherapist as well, has a good conversation with them. They talk a little bit about, she asked if Joel ever heard her, and she was like, what did he say? And, she was like, I really don't know. Nothing was really said. She just said he never hurt you. And Ellie's like, yeah, I'm fine. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. I think, man, Catherine just she's nailing this character. I mean,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
she's not in the game, and so she's doing this character completely from scratch. Like, there's nothing she has reference to in order to play this character. So
Yeah.
this is all purely Catherine O'Hara. This is all her. And she makes this character so interesting and does such a good job
Yeah.
with being a psychotherapist and, really can see through Ellie's BS.
Yeah.
And I
And
mean,
yeah. And
you and
she
I know.
Yeah, I mean, we all know the true story behind it, like what actually happened there. But the other thing that adds into that was you get her in this like, I'm your doctor, I'm trying to talk to you, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden you jump to this t-ball scene where she's
I
out
know.
drinking in the outfield, and she talks about Tommy asks, how do you get through it, and she's like, I drink a lot and I smoke a lot of weed, and you're just like, well, there you go. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I know. She's open about it. That's what's
yeah,
great. She's still honest. Like, well, the only way I do therapy sessions is if you give me weed or alcohol,
yeah.
which I mean, it's not a bad payment for him, I will say. It's none
Ah,
of that.
jeez.
It's well, okay. In this world, not
Yeah,
in modern world, because it's
yeah. Come
like,
on,
all
man.
right, no, no. But in that world where you have zombies everywhere, I mean, well, you need something to kind of,
Cut the edge.
yeah, a little bit. I think
Also, how
alcohol
bad
would
of a
be great.
game that those kids looked way too old to be t-ball kids.
I know, I know. It
And my
looks
wife was trying to be like, "Well, it's a post-apocalyptic world. They'd never played baseball before." And I was like, "By now, there's
I
what else are you
mean,
doing? What else are you doing in that town? Like you should be at the
at
field
that
every day. There's no
at that age,
technology."
anyways, yeah. At that age, anyways, yeah. I mean, they really, I don't know how they would contribute to society because they're just kids. I mean, they would go to school. I'm assuming there's a school in
Yeah,
this town, but I mean, you're right.
they looked
They,
old, too old to be being
playing
bad. I mean, the
t-ball.
kid tripped running down first base.
I was gonna say, like, bruh,
Come on, man.
you
What are we doing?
tripped going to first base. Even I, who's not an athlete, wouldn't do that.
Hopefully.
I wouldn't.
Okay. Well, we
I
see
would.
that, but it is a good little. It's a good takeaway though that they are trying to get back to normal. What's going on. We see a really beautiful scene in this one as well with Ellie, and you do this in the game as well, where you go into Joel's house. You find his watch, obviously the watch that hasn't moved since Sarah's death.
Yep,
Was the gift that she had gotten him. So you see that she looks at it. It's in a little box on his bed. You see all the figures that he was working on. He was getting into woodworking.
that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that part of the
Yeah, so
game.
you get that as well. And then you get the scene with Ellie and the jacket. And
That classic scene in the game.
yeah, and you see Bella Ramsey do some amazing acting, crying into the jacket. And it's one of those things too, because when they asked Bella about it and about that scene in particular, she was like, "Those are real tears." She was like, at that point, you're losing a character, but like she's like, I've been around Pedro for 3 or 4
While.
years now. Yeah. So, you lose a part of you as well because most of the scenes were already shot, I think, later on for the show. So,
Yep.
she mentioned it. She was like, that's real emotion that you're seeing. She was like, of, all the takes that we did, she's like, I probably cried in more than half of them. And she's like, it's real tears. It's not just acting. So I
Mhm.
think that shows you a lot about their character dynamic too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you know what's funny is that when I was watching that, obviously the camera's like right next to her. It's like right here next to her face. But there was a moment when she's crying into her jacket and like the angle that they had it almost looked like Ellie from the side.
Yeah.
Like there was a moment I'm like, holy crap, actually. Because I mean, we all know that Bella Ramsey does not look like Ellie in the game. I mean, we'll just put it out there. She doesn't.
Right.
But she has the personality and the foundation of Ellie, which is what we need. But when she was crying into the jacket and just at the right lighting and the right angle, you can actually see like Ellie, and it was like, holy damn, like that
Yeah.
actually kind of looks like Ellie. I was
Well,
like,
there's been some side by sides of her and Ashley Johnson, who actually obviously played Ellie
place.
for the game, voiced Ellie for the game.
Hmm.
And a lot of this, the body stuff is based off of Ashley Johnson. And they actually, there's a lot of pictures where they do look fairly like they are almost related. Like it is a really good side by side comparison, like a younger Ashley Johnson compared
Hmm.
to how Bella's kind of growing into it. So I think if you look at that, you're actually like, oh, it's not a bad comparison of the actresses that are actually there. And of course,
No.
Ashley Johnson is Ellie's mom in
Yes.
the character of Ellie's mom in the show.
Yes,
So
just for reference, people.
it does actually work out when you truly think about the way the universe changes with the game to this. I like the town hall meeting. I thought the town hall meeting, despite obviously the outcome, obviously anybody could have imagined what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
you and I knew what the outcome was going to be. They were
right.
not going to approve that proposal. So,
Exactly. So, but I thought they did a really good job with the speech that was written for the
mhm.
character of Ellie. Ellie presents that as I'm not really even doing this as vindictive. I just want justice. Like that's all I want. She's like, I don't want revenge. I want justice. In the game, we felt more that this was wanting
Revenge.
revenge. I think
Yes.
now with the TV show, they have steered it where people are like, we want justice for this. The only person that really wants revenge is technically Seth. So the character that,
Yes.
Joel just legitimately knocked over.
hmm But it's I don't know because and then I also like the aspect of having Gail there because she obviously reads people very well and she can see through Ellie's BS, which is
Yeah.
great. That's what we need because Ellie is like Gail said, Ellie is a liar. She um a lot of what she says and does, it's kind of a facade. I mean, Joel was the only person that can see through her and see what she actually means and know the truth until Gail came in. But when she was doing that speech, I think it's true. A part of her does want justice, but on the other hand, I still think there's a part of her that still wants that revenge. Yes, I get why they twisted it and made it to like, oh, Ellie just wants justice, which is understandable. That seems reasonable. But I still think they put it, to me, there is still a little bit of revenge in Ellie.
Oh, of
Like,
course. I mean, ultimately, yes. I mean, we see that in the next scene where, and
mhm,
I don't want to powder over the top that Seth comes to that and has a very impassioned speech, which I really think would have and honestly, I think probably would have got more yes votes than no's, honestly, just off of his speech alone.
yeah,
Had he have not kind of had the prior situation where he, the way he spoke about Ellie
that,
and Dina.
yeah, yeah.
But he does come to their aid, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But Ellie's back at her house after this vote. She gets the no vote, and it's pretty unanimous. It was 8-3 no,
I
so
know. Yeah,
that's not
sad.
not good.
Not
Um,
good. But hey, she got three. I thought it was gonna
exactly.
be a blowout where it was
Yeah,
like gonna be like
exactly.
8-1 or no, 10-1. Was there 11 people on that board?
Yeah,
Yes, 10-1. I thought it'd be like 10-1. She got three, so I'm
she
like,
got three
okay.
exactly. So she goes back. Best part about it, she starts packing. She knows she's going, no matter
Oh
what
yeah, she already made a
happens.
decision. Yeah,
She's
she
going.
made that decision before even the meeting started, or
Right.
even like way before the meeting. Like we
Yeah.
all know
The
Ellie
moment
was
she
gonna
woke
go.
up in the hospital,
Yes,
she was going to Seattle, or she was going to wherever that she found out where those people were from when she
yes,
finds out. Which of course Dina is the one that explains
tells
that
her.
to her. Then of course Dina does show up, which is fantastic. She shows up at the house and knocks on the door, and Ellie's got stuff everywhere, and she's like trying to leave, and she's like crap. So she lets her in, and Dina starts saying, "We, when are we leaving?"
Yeah.
And Ellie's like, "Well, what do you mean?" She was like, "Well, what's your plan? How are you going to get to
Yeah.
Seattle?" And Ellie's like, "Go northwest." And she's like, "Which way's northwest? How do you go?" And then
Yeah.
she's like, I don't know." And so then Dina whips out a map and she's like, "If we follow this way, we go through the national park and blah blah." And then
hmm
she's like, "And so all you're bringing is guns and some socks?" And she's like, and then she's like, "And Converse, you're gonna wear Converse to trek
Converse.
through?" She's
I
like, "Not
know.
with me, you're
Trek
not."
through a national forest where, yeah, no. And then she just like, here's all the list. Here's everything you need. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's why we got
yeah.
you, Dina.
So Dina, and then also the big part about this is that Dina actually set up the way to get out because obviously there was a lockdown on the stables, but
Yes.
Seth knew the person who was running the stables, told her to leave for a little bit so they can get Shimmer out, and then we are off on the
Off
trek. But before we leave, amazing scene. Some people didn't understand what was going on because they couldn't remember from um,
the
the
game.
game, and it wasn't super played up in the show. There was a couple scenes. Was
Mhm.
that Joel loved coffee,
Coffee.
and so she
Yes.
leaves the coffee beans on Joel's grave, which was a super sweet touch. I felt for it, and
Yeah,
just kind of was a really good playback to the game and to the actual show.
actual show. Yeah, the TV show didn't really emphasize the idea that Joel was a coffee lover. He
Yeah,
was a big coffee person. And as you know, in a post-apocalyptic world, it's very hard to find good coffee. It's not a
yeah,
Starbucks around every corner, it would all be shut down.
yeah.
But yes, in the post-apocalyptic world, Joel still manages to find some coffee. And so that was the reason why she put the coffee beans on top of his grave because yes, he was very much addicted to coffee. Which I'm very pleased that they did that. The moment I was trying to figure out like what is she doing? What's she doing? The moment I saw the beans, I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. In the game, Joel was a coffee person. Um, I definitely love the lighting and like everything about that scene very much. I was like I was kind of surprised that Bella wasn't a little bit more like emotional, I guess. Because I mean, that would be very emotional to go to his grave for the first time. And I was kind of shocked that we didn't really see a whole lot of emotion, like, emotional breakdown on
Yeah.
top of his grave.
I think, in my opinion on this, is the fact that she knew she was heading to Seattle and that the revenge was coming, that she was doing. I think that's why we didn't see as much emotion there, other than the smile, because she
Hmm.
was looking at it and she was like, I got you. I'm going to do this for you. So
Hmm.
I think that was a big part of it. At least when I looked at it, I thought that's why she didn't have that same amount of emotion that she's had in other, and when she saw the jacket and whatnot. So that to me was kind of the reasoning behind maybe
Okay.
that was that she felt like justice is coming. Don't worry. A
All
new
right.
group
Yeah,
that
I
we
can see that.
saw on the way to Seattle. We see this beforehand. We see this scene beforehand. There's a group walking. They're very, their clothes are not modern. Their clothes, which granted, in post-apocalyptic world, there is no modern clothes, but they're very old-fashioned, kind of monk style. There's a
There,
group, and
yeah.
they're known as the, they haven't really announced it yet, but we know
No.
it from the game, that
Yes.
they are the Seraphites, also known as the Scars. You saw the scars on their face.
Yep.
They're going to go further into that and the prophecy and the woman who was in charge of them when this all happened. They're going
Yep.
to go into that at some point. Probably some good backstories that we didn't even really see in the game. We hopefully will get to see with this. So,
Yeah, I definitely want to see the idea and the concept of how this, let's be real, it's a cult. Um, how this cult began.
but isn't
Because
everything really technically? I mean, isn't WLF when they still be one? I mean, even isn't Jackson, Wyoming kind of the same?
well, yeah. We're like it's a group of survivors. Yes,
Right.
yes. But like, I think what's different about this one is that the other two groups, the Wolves and Jackson, they don't. They're just a community. It's just a community of survivors. They don't like base their survival on religion
Right.
because this
True.
group, Seraphites, it's based on their survival is based on religion.
Yeah.
And that's how they believe that they're survivors because they believe in this prophet and that she is the one almighty and she's the reason why they are alive, blah, blah, blah. The other two, it's not based on religion. It's just based on, I mean, a community, I guess. I don't like just
True.
based pure survival.
True.
So yeah, Seraphites, it's based on religion. But isn't this okay? Just give me because it's been a little while since I played the game. Yes, the Seraphites are at war with is it still the same group? Is it still
Yeah.
the
They're
Seraphites?
and the wolves. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the Seraphites against the Wolves.
Hmm.
Okay, I thought it was I thought it was a another group another religious cult or something like that. I thought it was another religious group that
Maybe
they
it's
were at
about. I
war
mean, it
with.
has been a while since I've played it too, but I know
Okay.
obviously the wolves were another part of that. That they're
Okay.
obviously those are the two groups that you're mainly fighting. But I think there may have been another
I feel
group.
there maybe I don't know. I know the Seraphites are like a little cuckoo.
They are.
Um,
They are
they're
wild,
they are wild.
and they have those hammers that they try to kill you with.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's a
Yeah.
moment. Okay, well, they may have had this in the TV show. I don't know if it'll be in this season or another season, but there's a moment in the video game where oh my gosh, it was just hard to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The was it a girl?
Hmm.
It was a girl, and
Hmm.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to spoil anything,
We
folks,
may
but like
see it in the show. You never know.
I think I would be kind of shocked if they don't because it's how they introduce this character and then you kind of see a side of Abby that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, I'm just saying. But yes, we have this group of Seraphites. They use whistling to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is
I would not,
creepy.
which is creepy, but it's also kind of smart.
Yes.
Kind of smart. Um,
Until obviously people realize that that's their way of communicating was whistling, and then
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I would suck being a Seraphite because I can't whistle.
Yeah, Bo, that would be you would be screwed, my friend.
I would be screwed. I'm like, I can't whistle, folks. I'm like, yep,
Yeah,
you're out. Get
yeah.
out.
This guy,
This mother this mother
yeah,
trucker can't whistle. You just can
gone.
you gone. You can kill zombies, but you can't whistle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on here? So,
Yeah. All right, go with the
um,
wolves.
we see that we see by the time that obviously, and there's some great scenes leading in there as well,
Yes.
um where we get the conversation that Ellie has with Dina, which is, who's the first person you killed. Ellie obviously
Oh,
can't
yes.
tell who the first person she killed was because it was her
Was a
uh
storm or storm.
it was
Um,
it was her friend in the mall. That's
yeah,
her
and
first
mom.
kill, yeah,
Yeah,
because they got bit together, and then
she had to kill
yeah,
her.
yeah, because she
Um,
turned and Ellie didn't. So um
what was her name again?
I forgot.
I forgot. I said Storm because I think that was the actress's name who played her friend. I think her name is Storm or Stormy or something like that. I don't know where I got, but I'm pretty sure the actress who played her friend in the first season, her real name is Stormy.
Okay. Well, we'll just roll with that then. That's
Okay, I
fine.
think I don't know,
But
but for some reason, I just immediately thought Storm or Stormy.
so they
Okay.
tell that story. She tells her second death,
Yes.
one that she killed. There's also a really good scene with them. They're in their tent.
Tense.
It's a big rainstorm, which of course Dina, who's this tracker, knows, hey, the storm's coming. And they
Yeah.
have this really good scene. And this is actually a scene that happens. This was actually what would have kind of happened in the library that I mentioned in last
Yes.
episode. This same conversation of, well, you've kissed girls before, so you should know if I'm a good kisser or not, all that good
Yes.
stuff, which is a scene that actually happens in the library, just not as risque as what happened in the game in the library, if you will.
Yeah.
Fairly close here in the tent.
Fairly, but it was very innocent. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
So they
nothing had
get
to turn
they
away.
get outside of Seattle, and
Yes.
unfortunately, they find one of the Seraphites dead. He got shot in the back,
Yeah.
and then we see Dina go off in the woods, come back throwing up.
Mm.
For whatever reason, she's throwing up. She sees a bunch of dead Seraphites in the woods,
Yeah.
including a father and daughter, which is what something was very important to the creators to have that father daughter, because a lot of this game is really, you start off with father daughter with Joel and Sarah, you
Yes.
go father daughter with Joel and Ellie, you go father
Yes.
daughter with the surgeon and with
His daughter. I don't remember his daughter's name.
Abby, the surgeon
Oh,
Abby,
oh,
yeah. So you
sorry.
have that, and then you have the
Forgot about that.
Seraphites. No, you're good. The Seraphites, and the leader, the guy who's walking, leading with his daughter. So there's a
There you
lot
go.
of this father-daughter mentality in there, which is what something that they really wanted to play into. So you feel that emotion of this same kind of storyline repeating, and to see it now where both of them, like in the sense of it, right? Joel lived, Sarah didn't. Ellie's alive, Joel didn't. Abby lived, her dad didn't. And now we see a scene where there's two
Both.
Seraphites and they're both dead. And
Yeah.
it just kind of plays into this whole, father daughter situation. And also, we're talking because we played the game, the Seraphites are not nice by any means.
Yeah, do not fall into the idea that this group of people is innocent and they're
Right.
good and they are trying to bring back humanity into the world. No, they are far from it. Like
But
these.
again, right, we see
Mhm.
this scene.
Yes.
We can only imagine, because after that we see the WLF obviously
Yes.
marching through town,
Hmm.
Manny running the lookout, whatever. But we see the WLF, and we already hate the WLF
Yes.
because of what they did to Joel, and now we see this other family. So it's a really good setup to
Hmm.
think like, oh, this group is just terrible. Like the only enemy here is WLF, but
Hmm.
that's not the case. And you're going to continue to learn that. And again, the message of every episode is going to end up being the same thing.
Who's
Who
the
is
villain?
really the villain?
Who's
And
the
there's no real
villain? Who's the
answer.
hero? And there's not. You can't. That's what I love so much about the story. I think that's the biggest theme of it. You can't. It's not black and white. You can't choose who's the hero and who's the villain. I think universally most of us are going to say that yes, Ellie is the hero, the good person.
Yeah,
I think
she is the
universally.
protagonist. Yes.
Yes, yes. Universally, we can all agree that Ellie is the hero, the good person. But but to say who's the villain is much harder to identify because all these characters are based, all their decisions are based off of their experience, and so it's really hard to say, oh, that person's a villain because that person is pure evil, they were born evil, blah blah blah. No, every person who's made a bad decision is based off of something. And so you really have to, it's really hard to identify who the villain, because you can't say Abby is, because, well, Joel did kill her dad. So you kind of feel sympathy for Abby a little bit, that Joel did kill her father in cold blood.
Except for the TikTok that I sent you, which was absolutely hilarious, and
Yeah, that
everything that
was
we
fun.
had said.
That
Everything
was
that was a
funny.
good TikTok.
It was a very
Um,
good TikTok. First, I'm like, buddy, I don't have TikTok because I'm a
no,
rare
so
breed.
I have to screen record things for Bo
Yes.
so he can
Hmm.
see TikTok, which is the lamest crap I've ever had to do in my
Oh
life.
my
So you can
gosh.
see funny content.
Hey, once America buys TikTok, then I'll get TikTok. I'm
I
just saying.
what
I'm
if
just
I mean I have TikTok, so you should have TikTok, so I can send you things on TikTok.
okay. Well, here's the thing. If China comes after you, I don't want to hear it.
They already have all my information, dude. This is we have
Well,
social. You have social media. You're a public figure. They already have all your stuff. They know who
yeah,
you are.
public figure.
You're the
You used
you're
to be a public. Well, actually,
I
you are still a
I'm
public
still
figure.
technically a public figure. Yeah, but no, you are one. So they know who you are. They know exactly everything about you, everything
Yeah.
that you
Well,
need to know.
my, well, they're not going to be very impressed. Like,
Oh, there you go. So get TikTok. What's the matter?
oh,
Bada
mm,
bing, bada boom.
bada
We
boom.
solved the
But I don't want to
problem.
sit on my ass all day and just like,
I don't
ooh,
do that.
scroll, scroll, scroll. I know my behavior. I feel like I would, but
Nah,
I'm
you
just,
wouldn't.
you got to identify your behavior. Nah, man, I would. You have a lot of going on, man. This man, Ethan, he has a lot of crap going on.
Never.
So you have no reason to sit down and look at TikTok all
I
day,
like
you know?
I don't, and that's the thing. I don't look at it all day, but I do like to post stuff.
All right, he does.
I like to post stuff on there because I like to post like my inspirational quotes for the week.
Inspirational quote. Yeah, this one, Michael Scott, really.
That was a good one. It's Wayne Gretzky and then Michael Scott because if you're an Office fan, you get it. I thought about my question that I said. Still don't know who my favorite Walking Dead character is. I would say obviously Rick, but Rick leaves after
Yeah.
in the middle of season 9. Again, I know the backstory with Andrew Lincoln and why he left, but like
What was the
also
reason?
he wanted to spend more time with his family. He realized his kids were getting a lot older, and he was like, "This is such a
Missing out on it.
yeah, missing out on like life as a dad and
Okay.
as a parent." So I understand his reasoning. So I would have said
Fair enough.
Rick, but I don't know. And I also like I don't know who I would even like be if that was the case. Like who I would be in this
Rick.
show. I mean, I guess so. I guess I would be the only person I
He,
could be like. But you said Negan one time as a mean statement, and I
as a mean state.
agreed. No, I didn't agree.
Well, because okay, I haven't watched the one. I don't know Negan's backstory, so I can't. So I was kind of joking with it,
It's
but
not a
like,
great backstory, but I mean, in the long run, it is somewhat kind of.
you make
Eh.
it seem like, oh, it's understandable why he killed Glenn and
No,
stuff
I
like
don't. No, never. There's no reason for the way he killed Glenn or Abraham. Not at all. Both those deaths were super
unnecessary.
unnecessary.
But
But to
yeah, see, there's
understand
a
who his
but.
character is, why he's that way, why he is so sick in the head, it does make sense.
Nah, see, it seems like you're being sympathetic.
No, I do
Mm,
not. But I I mean he legitimately I liked Abraham as a character, not one
I
of my
did too.
favorite characters. I liked Abraham and obviously I mean I liked Glenn, but the
Mm,
reason why like the backstory explains why he is the terrible human he is. Let's just put it that
okay.
way.
Okay.
Which maybe I mean if what happened to him happened to me, I don't think I would still I don't know. I would do anything to protect my people,
Hmm.
but I would find a way to also not be like I don't
A
think I could bash a head
cold-blooded
in even
murderer and a
in
psychopath.
yeah even in the dark days. I don't know if I could do that.
Oh, jeez, my
The
gosh.
dark times.
Dark times. But like you would, I mean, no, okay, you would be Rick in the aspect of yes, you probably would be the leader of our group. And when I say are, more likely, I would be in this group as well.
You should be.
Um, yeah, I should be, and I have a guide. I have a zombie book on how to survive a
I
zombie
really don't need a
apocalypse.
zombie book. What I need is I need a book about like what like plants we can eat.
Yeah,
What
this book has that.
okay, well then yeah, that's what we need then.
Yeah, this book has it. It has everything you need to know to survive.
Mushrooms, things like that.
Don't want to get lit off of mushrooms over here. You
Yeah,
want
and
to
then
have
get bit
a
because I'm like, oh, look at it. Yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty. Oh. But yeah, you would probably Rick. You just wouldn't be as I don't think you would be as stern or I mean, you would have your moments, I think, if people were really like not doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be
Um,
as standoffish as Rick.
there we go. That's a good better word. Standoffish. I think that's a better word of saying it. Yeah, you wouldn't be that, but you would definitely be a Rick kind of character. Uh, what? Oh gosh, I'm afraid to ask this. Ask this. What would you say as a character for me? Like, who would I be? I'm afraid to ask.
I always give you a
I don't
terrible
like your. I
character.
don't like your look. I
I
don't
always
like
give
your
you a
look.
terrible character when you ask
He
me to
always
do
gives
these
it. It's
things.
gonna be like, hold on, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out. It's gonna be a horrible character. Eugene.
Oh, Eugene would. Eugene,
Okay, the Eugene I know is a little
yeah,
puss.
the end Eugene, yeah,
He's
the
a little puss,
Eugene
but I
that we
heard
end
he
up
does
with.
tough enough. I heard he toughens up.
He does. He actually starts killing things late.
Oh, I swear, if you say the priest, what's his name?
No, maybe a character like Aaron,
Okay, okay, okay. The one. Okay, I is Aaron the one that was like by him? We run into him by himself, and then it turns out he
and
has a
then he
gay
leads you.
partner.
Yeah, he leads you back to Alexandria.
Okay, okay, okay. I mean,
I
I'm not
think.
gay, but
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, but the character, I think,
yeah. The
is a good
foundation.
character. Tough
uh,
guy. He works. He, wouldn't be afraid to get his hands dirty. Obviously, you don't know everything about him yet, but he stays with the group. I mean, he's a fantastic
He's a
person.
loyal
Yeah,
character. Yeah.
he's a loyal person to the cause, and to the Rick's cause and everything like that too. So I think Aaron would be a good character.
Okay, I accept that.
I
I
think
accept that.
I think he's a good character in there.
All right, I accept that. I was like, I swear to gosh, if you say like the priest or
Which the priest gets a little. I mean, he gets.
oh
I mean, he gets better at the end of it, and
oh his hands
gets.
gets dirty.
Yeah, yeah. The
Okay,
priest
okay,
towards the end of it, the priest is not the holiest man there.
okay,
So yeah.
okay.
So I mean, not that he's a bad human, but like he
No,
realizes like what he has to become to survive,
survive. If
which
he
is
wants to live, he has to
yes,
do
and
certain
to
things.
become an
Yes.
actual leader for
Oh, he
once.
becomes a leader.
Yeah, because when Rick leaves, he has to. He has to step up.
Really?
Yeah.
He takes up the responsibility?
Aaron, a lot of those guys kind of step into that role that would have been led by Rick.
Rick. I figure
Yeah.
Aaron or I don't know what happens with Michonne, but I figure maybe Michonne possibly. I don't know what happens with her. Or even I don't know. I mean, there were
I'm not
several.
gonna ruin it for you with
Okay, I need to
Michonne.
watch it. I watch it. All right,
She lives. I mean, if that's, I mean, you've seen the thing
I
for
know
the,
Michonne lives. Yes,
yeah, but yeah, Michonne, I
she's my
won't ruin it
girl.
for you.
She's my girl.
I won't ruin it for you. What happens
Okay.
with Michonne? She is a leader, though.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah,
All right,
and
good.
then and obviously Daryl steps up a lot in that role too.
Oh, well, yeah. I always kind
As
of figured
much as he
Daryl.
is like a wanderer type deal, but he does stray away from the flock as well.
He
And
does. Okay.
yeah, so I mean, he does his own thing after some time of peace, if you will. But Bo, I have to close this off because I have to go teach my last class of the semester.
Oh, oh, those poor students.
They're poor professor. I have been lenient on them all semester, and now they're trying to play me like a fool. So
Yeah,
how
this poor
dare
guy.
they?
Yeah, I know. This poor guy has telling me just story after story
This has been a
about.
long semester. It's been a long semester.
We all pray for you. We are
Thanks.
so sorry. We are so
I,
sorry. I would never want to teach. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't want to teach. I don't know if
well,
I have the patience.
my patience have been thin. I'm glad today's the last day. So, with that being said, I want to thank Bo for his time. And of course, thank you all for listening to another episode of Random Schmidt. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope that you're sticking with The Last of Us. Hopefully, we can get you back into it. If you stopped after last episode, jump back in, watch episode
Yes.
3, get ready for episode
Ready.
4.
Bro,
There's only
like
7 in season 2, so there's only a couple more
I
left, but it's a great
yes.
story.
I'm telling you right now, just one more comment. Like, I don't know if people watch towards the end where they give you behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but one of the creators, he's like, "Oh, they make it to Seattle, it will be like easy peasy." No,
No.
not even close. So people get ready because I think the
Yeah.
next 3 episodes, if I could cuss, I would, but stuff's gonna hit the fan.
Heck yeah.
Stuff. Yeah, a
And we get to
lot
see
of.
a really good actor join in episode 4. If you
I
watch the
know.
upcoming, I'm excited about that, but we'll
I'm
talk about
excited,
that.
but I'm also
Yeah.
scared because like this guy, if he's playing who I think he's gonna be playing, is gonna be effed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you
So
guys so much
got
again for listening to this episode of Random Schmidt. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that you join us again next time.